Welcome everyone to our 2026 budget meeting. I'll ask the clerk to let us know who we have here, both online or in person.
Through you, Chair, we have Councillor Power joining us online, and in person there's Councillor Medeiros, Councillor Fortini, Councillor Tour, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Palashi, Councillor Santos, and I believe Councillor Brar is joining us shortly.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to ask if there is any member that would like to declare a pecuniary interest on matters to be dealt with to today's agenda. Councillor Fortini. The clerk will so note. I see no others. So I'll next move into closed session. We're about to go into closed session. Oh, Councillor Palashi, please.
Two things, Mr. Acting Chair. I don't think Councillor Fortini said it last time. I don't believe that there's conflicts anymore. This isn't our budget. We're not voting on anything. It's not council's budget anymore. So I think we can strike that declaration of conflict of interest out of it. Also, with respect to in camera, I'm good. I think I asked for in camera conversations, unless any other members want to go in camera to hear what the staff had to say with relation to those questions, but I'm good. Because again, it's mayor's budget.
Okay, thank you. So the clerk will so note that that was raised, but we did have in the interest of Councillor Fortini declaring in an abundance of caution, conflict of interest on matters today with respect to legislative service. So we do have an item for a closed session. Do members want to hold closed session? We do. So I have a motion moved by Councillor Tour and seconded by Councillor Fortini to move into closed session to deal with the following items. 12.1, 2026 budget consideration relating to confidential HR matters, open meeting exception under section 2392D and F of the Municipal Act 2001, labor relations or employee negotiations and advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Councillor Palashi.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Chair. Would it be better if we just broke now and recessed until the mayor could come back? And that we will meet in camera when the mayor's here. If
The mayor,
recess till then?
so for members to be aware, the mayor asked me to chair the in-camera session.
It's not your budget. It's not our budget. What are we doing here if the mayor's not here? Let's just wait until he comes. Let's recess until...
Do we know, Madam Clerk, when the mayor would appear today?
I'm not sure. I know he'll be here for 12 noon for the open session when we reconvene in open at 12 noon. He did ask us to proceed.
Yes, Prabhu? Yeah, 12. Yeah, recess till 12.
Very good. So we have a motion moved by Councillor Palashi to recess at 12 o'clock in camera with the mayor. All in favor? Any opposed? Yes? Deputy Mayor.
I think what you're referring to is just in camera at 12, and then we can get that. Yeah, not I think there's a difference between recess
Just
and.
move us to in camera.
So we'll reconvene at 12 p.m. in camera.
Okay, exactly.
All in favor?
No.
Did you vote on the motion to go in close?
Not yet.
Because that's been moved and seconded. That's on the floor.
Yeah,
But
that's what we're doing.
we're now changing the motion to recess until 12 p.m. in closed session. Correct. Who is moving the motion to reconvene at 12? Councillor Tour, seconded by Councillor Fortini. At 12 p.m. in camera. I see no issue with the motion. All in favor? That carries. Thank you.
get everyone's attention. We dealt with our closed session item, and no direction was given. So we're going to reconvene our meeting, and our next item of business is the 2026 Community Engagement Summary. Are there any questions about the Budget 2026 Community Engagement Summary? If not, I have a motion moved by Councillor Medeiros, seconded by Councillor Tour to receive the 2026 Community Engagement Summary. All those in favor? Motion carries. Now, we have a long motion that covers all the feedback we've received, but if there are questions, we still have opportunity for that, but I can go and explain the larger motion if council is prepared for that at this point. Okay. So I wanted to say that in this 30-day period that is regulated by the province, we have tried to listen and engage relentlessly. And I think what's unique in Brampton is that this is not simply a meeting at City Hall. We have really gone and listened to the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want to make sure everyone has the chance to share their feedback. And I have to say, there was lots of good ideas where we could find savings. There was suggestions of where we need to spend more money. And we even heard some abstract ideas in the meetings. I looked at Councillor Pellechy and Brar. There was a pitch to get rid of electronic voting at one of your town halls. So we got some interesting suggestions too. But I think overall, no, not from you, but there was overall, I think there was a high level of engagement. I look at Councillor Power and Fortini. Your event was during a snowstorm. Same with Councillor Tour and Councillor Singh. And people still came out and wanted to share, and we had long, active conversations. And our finance and budget staff were there to answer technical questions. Our director of bylaw, the 311 team were there. We certainly got a lot of bylaw and 311 feedback. But for me, what I heard most clearly was people are struggling. They're struggling with affordability. You know, the consequence of inflation, interest rates, tariffs has hit home. And this is a challenging time. And the message that we heard very clearly was, we know the city is sharpening their pencils, sharpen them even more. Do your best to help us through this difficult time. With there being one caveat, and that caveat was nothing can take away from public safety or healthcare, because those are critical to the well-being of our city. And so we have a motion today that incorporates everything we've heard. The projects that councillors have raised that might have been missing have all been included in this motion. At the same time, we have leaned into every department, and we have a budget that we're now proposing that will be a 0% city share of the property tax increase, so a 0% city share, but also a 1% second hospital levy. That's the one thing we couldn't take off the bill. That second hospital construction is starting this year, and as you know, that's a mandatory requirement of the province to move forward, is that we have to come up with our local share, and obviously that is a huge sum, and this is the only way to pay for that. You know, we pay for 10% of the bricks and mortar, but we also have to fundraise for all the equipment in the hospital, which is about the same price. And so when I say healthcare, it's not just the province that foots this bill. There's a large municipal share, and so that levy is integral to that. And I would note on our Teletown Hall, we had an overwhelming majority of the city that said maintain the healthcare levy, maintain that levy to build Brampton's second hospital. We had 5,000 Bramptonians, households, attend that Teletown Hall. And once again, we had, just like at the coffee chats, we had all our staff at that town hall as well. So thank you to our City of Brampton staff that work incredibly hard on this budget. So to Mark, to Nash, to Michael Halls, to Richard, to everyone, all the commissioners, just want to say on behalf of our residents and city council, thank you. And a special shout out to Councillor Vasante, because he served as vice chair of this process and actually attended all the coffee chats as well. He would usually hide in the back and listen and be there to help, but I'm grateful how active you were in those conversations. So we have a larger motion we're going to put on the screen, and I want everyone to take a long look at it. And I believe that it has incorporated all the feedback that we have heard. And do you think we should read it out for those that, or if someone's watching at home, can they see the motion? Okay, so I'll read the full motion given the significance of it. The City of Brampton Council endorse a 2026 net property tax levy impact of 0% on the tax bill for city businesses. That the City of Brampton Council endorses a $15,327,700,000 or a 1% increase in the net property tax levy to contribute to our second hospital reserve, thereby accelerating the collection of the city's $125 million commitment to Osler, meeting the cash flow requirements of the project. That to achieve the 0% impact, the 2026 budget net property tax levy increase of $23,653,612 or 1.5% be amended as follows. The general government budget include a provision for efficiency savings and revenue increases in the amount of $4,147,956, and the staff be directed to achieve the amount in the 2026 fiscal year. The contributions from reserves include a short-term internal loan from strategic reserves to the operating budget in the amount of $19,475,656 to be repaid through the existing second hospital levy, subsequent to fulfilling the $125 million commitment to William Osler. That the treasurer be authorized to make all necessary transfer amounts budgeted on the provisional basis in the general government accounts to department operating accounts as and when necessary supporting information is available. That the chief administrative officer be authorized to effect the necessary funding transfers, incur expenditures, and to add or adjust, complement as required to implement the budget. The Corporate Support Services 2026 operating budget be amended to exclude $30,000 from the Marquee Festival sponsorship funding relating to the council-approved recommendation CW 254-2023, directing staff to add one new Experience Brampton Festival each year. 7, that the Community Services 2026 capital budget be amended to include the following projects in the amount of $6,066,000 be fully funded from the return of capital that has been identified through the year-end process. George M. Lee Park, playground replacement. Gladys and George Gray Park, playground replacement. Graywell Park, playground replacement. Joseph Lawson Park, playground replacement. Kierstead Park, playground replacement. Mountain Ash Park, playground replacement. R.M. Wells Park, playground replacement. Lightcatcher Park, shade shelter. Shabazz Badi Park, shade shelter. Dr. Jose Rizal, shade shelter. Offset community living wards 9 and 10. Bovaird House and Dugan Park rink construction upgrades, W.J. Clifford Park playground, Trey Livin Park outdoor rink, Trey Livin Park splash pad, Trey Livin Park playground replacement, Worthington Park playground replacement costs, Worthington Park shade shelter replacement, Bourne Park playground replacement costs, 55 Queen Lawrence Scott's Museum accessibility compliance. The capital project for Sandalwood Fieldhouse in the amount of $3 million be shifted from the 2027 budget year to the 2026 budget year. And so that is the large technical motion. And if there are questions about the motion or comments, I see on the board we have Councillor Vasante and Councillor Keenan.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and want to, on behalf of members of council, but also staff, thank you for your leadership of the budget process. I want to also thank all of the residents who came out to our budget chats, who attended our teletown hall, and all the engagement opportunities that we offered to the public and to the business community and to the arts community to provide feedback to inform the budget. Again, my thanks to everyone here at this table, and I'm happy to second the motion. Thank you.
Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mayor Brown, and also want to thank staff and everybody that came out to the town halls to put their input in. Obviously, this is a good budget that definitely listens to the community and what their needs are. And I just want to really say thanks, Councilor Medeiros and myself, for really pushing for the Tree 11 parks to be added into this. It's a park that definitely needs an upgrade in our area. It's one that a lot of families moving back into that community, and I'm really happy to see that on here, as well as all the other parks in all other areas. I think that's important that we have a budget that is taking affordability into account, but also still investing inside our communities. So I just want to really say, I really appreciate that, and thanks so much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through Mr. Chair. And again, thank you to the entire team, the budget team, the commissioners, the CAO, all of you worked very hard. This has not just been a process over the past month, it's been an entire year's worth. I believe, Mayor Brown, when we passed the budget last year, you already started working on the budget for this year to find ways to really squeeze and make the most of property tax dollars. So to be very clear, we're at a 0% increase in terms of base operating expenses, correct?
Yeah, through the chair to Councilor Santos, 0% for any city business.
For city business, 0%. That is worth a round of applause for all of you and the mayor and everyone who worked so hard to get to that point. And then the 1% increase is our provincial requirement for our contribution to the hospital and the equipment, correct?
Through the chair to Councilor Santos, that is correct.
Amazing. And so congratulations, Mayor Brown, the team, all of council, the residents. I know Brampton Board of Trade is here as well, the business community, for getting to this point. This has been a huge effort. I'm really proud of Brampton. You know, I look at some of the increases in other municipalities, and I hate to boast, but I got to say, we have gone through an incredible process here in Brampton. Obviously, there will be improvements again for next year as we go through the process again and learn with the new provincial legislation in place and requirements from the province. However, you should all be so proud, and I can't wait to vote for this. But Mayor Brown, I would also like to second this motion with you, and I would suggest perhaps all of council second the motion together with Mayor Patrick Brown. Thank you. So please add me to that list. I'm sure Councillor Keenan would love to second it as well.
I'm sure we can have all of council second it, but I'm told there's wording updated in the Marquee Festival motion that we'll just get on the board to make sure it's the correct language. Obviously, this language is important. And we'll put the new wording on it looks like the same wording, but we'll see it on paper. Councilor Medeiros.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor, and certainly, you know, at the risk of being repetitive, I do want to thank you, Mayor Brown, for your leadership on this. Thank you to staff. It's not unnoticeable when I see Mark and his team or our financial guys always meeting up on the 6th floor, and a lot of flurry of action. And this is not a budget that just happened in the last week or so. I know it's a year-long process that every commissioner at the table was given a task and given a challenge to you know, really reflect the difficulties and the times that we're living in now. And you've come up with something, I think, which is something, as Councillor Santos says, we should be proud of, because not only are we maintaining service, there are key investments, as Councillor Keenan alluded to, and I do want to recognize and thank Councillor Keenan for his advocacy for Tree 11. And I just think that this is a reflection of, you know, really a Team Brampton approach to this under certainly the Mayor's leadership. And I think Brampton residents, we're never going to satisfy everybody, and I know the complexities of understanding what the budget means and, you know, and so on. But when you can leave with a budget where you feel that, you know, it's spread across different areas, different programs, and you think about, you know, I get calls just the last day I would want to relay from other councillors I had from different municipalities saying that you guys have a community nurturing program. How do we implement that? You guys have bylaws and you guys are doing this RRL program, and, you know, so there's all these unique things that we do in Brampton that I think sometimes we underestimate, that many municipalities look at us as leaders on a lot of challenges just because of our challenge of
growth and everything else. So thank you for everybody. Thank you for everyone around this table, because everyone sort of put forth their 2 cents. And I think it's a time that we really have to reflect and say, you know, we're certainly on the right path. And thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Councilor Medeiros. Councilor Tour.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Brown. I'll just start by being a little bit repetitive, what all my colleagues have said, but a special thank you to all of the budget office staff, all the finance team, everybody, all the commissioners, especially, you know, seeing in this motion, there's a lot of requests that came from parks from our areas as well, seeing those incorporated here. I know is good news for our residents that look forward to this. You know, we take pride in how vibrant and active our parks are and our communities are, and investing back in those communities. I think that's where people are happiest to see their property taxpayer dollars go more directly. It has a very direct impact in the local community. So thank you for all the work to get that done. It's not easy work to make it all happen. Just have a question as well with that on the hospital levy piece of it. This is a 1% increase to the existing levy, correct?
Through the chair, that is correct.
So our annual payments, like how much does this accelerate our portion of the funding? Like how many years of this are we saving?
Yeah, through the chair to Councilor Tour, we were anticipating about 2031 to 2032 to fully complete the 125 million. With this adjustment, we will now have that completed by 2029, which is in line with the cash flow requirements of the project.
Okay, and so that's in line with the provincial commitment to the hospital as well?
Correct.
So that they're getting those dollars at the same time?
Exactly.
Okay. No, I appreciate that feedback. And then beyond that point, that levy increase will pay the temporary borrowing from the internal reserves, right? Okay, thank you.
Councilor Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to number 6 now, and I thought I understood it, and as I keep reading it, maybe I don't fully understand. The exclusion of $30,000, you're taking that out of the budget, right? You're taking the $30,000 out, okay. But directing staff to add one new Experience Brampton Festival each year, that's what I don't understand. You can't do that for next council, is one. And two, are you removing any of the current events and starting over to add one new, or?
Sorry, Councillor, maybe it's just, I think through the chair, it's just the wording. So what it's meant to, and it meets your previous request. So there's a past report, which is C and recommendations.
254-2023, yep.
That one. That report includes a provision whereby each year a new Marquee Experience Brampton Festival would be added. So we had, so based on that past direction, we had proposed that again this year, the 30 grand, and then based on, I believe it was your request, so we will not add it for this year and thereby reduce the budget by the 30K we proposed. So it just will not add the new one. Everything that's in is in from the past historically, just not adding the new one.
Okay, but
So I
then
think
directing staff to add one new each year
relating to the recommendation, directing staff, because the recommendation for prior was to do that. So this is, I think it's just the wording. But we are not including the 30 or adding the new one.
Okay, okay. That's a future discussion that we'll have for any additions.
Yes, we'd bring it forward if there's a request. Right now, we're taking that as direction to not add new festivals.
For sure. Okay, thanks, Jay. Thank you very much.
Okay. I don't see any other questions. So we have a motion on the table moved by myself, seconded by all of council, recorded vote requested. Oh, and the conflicts of interest to the clerk when we do the. So, procedurally, if Councilor Ferdinand doesn't want to vote on bylaw and I don't want to vote on BIA, how can you achieve that?
We can separate the question into three motions.
Sure.
So that if we vote on the legislative services operating budget.
Well, we vote on everything, and then you vote on the BIA approval, and then you vote on the bylaw approval.
So everything with the exception of those two
Yes,
items
yes.
first.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the recorded vote?
Yes,
Request?
correct.
Okay.
Councilor Paleshi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Why are we having a vote? Why are we voting on anything? Like if we voted, against it, it doesn't not move, it passes still.
Yeah, it does automatically pass after 30 days. We are passing it, today's the 30th day.
If it's symbolic, then
Yeah, it's symbolic.
it's symbolic for all of us to say we passed the budget.
Yeah.
So maybe just have a motion to say that, we passed the budget. We support the budget.
Yeah, we still have to
Instead of
vote.
all the great level of detail where you now have to declare conflicts, it's more,
But I think we want to pass the motion with all the new information here to the budget. We're amending the budget.
we're not doing anything.
No, this
We
motion amends the
support
budget.
you amending the
Yeah,
budget,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to vote to that and support that, but I'm not doing any of this.
Yeah.
These technical amendments
Yeah.
to the budget don't include anything specific to the BIA
Okay.
budget or specific to the legislative
Okay.
services budget.
Okay.
Those have been decided, these are amendments to
Oh, we've already,
the budget, so you're both able to vote on.
okay, so we've already adopted the BIA and legislative services. Okay.
Does that help? And, yeah, you already, that's up to you when you want to do.
If I had a conflict, I would not be voting on this. I'm just,
Okay, I think, Nash, you want to speak?
Yeah, Frank. We also need to pass the motion because I need the authority to execute what is being stated in the motion, so I think we need the vote at least for that.
why?
I need the authority to execute, Counselor, this.
But that's the mayor gives you the authority, right? It's not council.
So I think if I read this right, there would be a 10-day period for council to amend and a 10-day period for the mayor to veto. We're waiving that 10-day amendment and 10-day veto period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I can vote on that motion.
yeah. So that's the second motion, right? Correct? But the first motion is, since I proposed a budget, we're amending that budget. And so to amend the budget, we require a council motion, correct?
And Nash needs that.
And that, yes, and that amendment motion under the strong mayor power would require a 2/3 vote, if I recall the legislation. But I think what we're gonna do is looks like we're all gonna support that motion, so it well exceeds the 2/3.
Sure.
Can I get legal
Through you,
advice?
Mr. Chair, the process that the clerk contemplated is the proper process to, if you want to split out still because of the conflicts, that would be to it. But whether it's needed, or I think what I'm hearing though is that there's still a desire to split it out. I would agree that it's not necessary to split it out, but
Okay, Councilor Tour.
Through you, Mayor Brown, I think if I can help Councilor Bertini, I think what the intention is to make sure that they're safeguarded from the conflict of interest. Part of this motion, what it says is we endorse this budget. Councilor Bertini, what I understand, doesn't want to endorse the budget for bylaw services because he has a conflict of interest. Mayor Brown doesn't want to endorse the budget that impacts BIA because he has a conflict of interest on that.
Yeah.
So if we can work around that language, I think that helps everybody then.
If I still have, I would add
Because
that.
if that part of the motion didn't exist, at point one of this motion, that says that we endorse this budget, which is the overall budget.
Yeah.
Then we wouldn't have this problem.
I would, if I had a conflict, I would just state that in the motion.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
it just stated in the motion, and I think that
Added-
covers
added
it.
to item
Went back
9.
to legal, though, that didn't answer my
I
question.
don't know, Councilor Fertini has declared, Mayor Brown's declared. Item 9.
Council needs to amend the budget? I don't understand what that comment was about. Can you clarify?
well, through you, Mr. Chair, the budget becomes the budget through the passage of time.
given the changes in the Ford legislation. So in here, though, there's a lot of very specific instructions, and council has formed those. I think we're hearing from our treasurer, who's different than the chief budget officer. The treasurer needs that to implement the mayor's budget. So, council's approving these amendments.
I know it's,
So then-
it's procedures and stuff, and I think we just need to make sure we get it right, that's all. That's why if I'm nitpicking, I'm just ensuring that we're,
Yeah, to that point, to Stephen, then does the mayor move this budget? These are amendments that the council is making to the mayor's budget, right?
Through Mr. Chair, I would view, well, it's a totality of the process that's occurred to date.
Yeah.
At law, that's a very difficult question to answer, but these are your amendments which are shaped by, we don't want to discount the work that council has put into this budget.
Okay.
Does that answer?
Okay, so Councilor Fortini, the suggestion is we're gonna add a number 9 in that outlines the conflict so it's clear. So we scroll up to that, see on the screen to make sure that meets Councilor Fortini's concern. Yeah, so we've already declared it, but we're gonna put it in there just as a reiteration. You see that, Councilor Fortini? Councilor Fortini?
Yeah, no, thank you. I didn't see. No, I get what you're saying, but, I'm going back to what I said. We shouldn't even be voting on the budget. I get what you're saying. Because I remember the first time the Mayor Powers handed in the paper, it was not supposed to declare a conflict, and there was no voting. So if I'm voting on something now, I really don't have to declare a conflict because there's no vote, but more, I guess, more the impact is out there that people have conflict in yourself too. So I just want to be, or else I'm not going to even bother voting on the motion. I don't know, I won't even have one park in this list anyway. So why am I even voting? So I guess I'm just not going to vote at all on
Yeah.
everything.
So-
But,
so Councilor
I'm
Fortini-
happy with the budget, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
Council-
I just won't vote for it,
Yeah,
that's all.
So Councilor Fortini, my advice would be to vote, because the motion also includes our commitment to the hospital that I know you've been a supporter of. And so we've put in the language, that we've recognized the past conflicts. I would say we do need this motion because I presented a budget, and this amends the budget. And so we're amending the budget. If we didn't pass this motion, all these projects would not be included. The enhanced commitment to the hospital wouldn't be included. And so we do have to include that. We've changed the original budget document that was included, and I'm obviously supporting that change. And so normally it would be a discussion, doesn't meet the 2/3 to amend the budget. I think it's going to be abundantly clear that we do meet the 2/3.
No, and I get what you're saying about the 1% for the hospital, and I'm very in favor of it, but if we look at this list, I don't even have Jacuzzi Park here to do a playground. It's only $68,000. So why would I have to vote on something when I can't even get a splash pad resurfaced, which costs $68,000?
You are getting the splash pad at Jacuzzi Park.
Well, it doesn't say Jacuzzi here on the capital. That's all I'm saying. It was only 68,000. It wasn't 660,000. So if I don't see Jacuzzi Park here, I'm not going to vote on it. And I do feel bad for the hospital. I was the one who started the levy, but for $68,000, I get here 200 something to 450,000. So, and I can't get 68,000.
Yeah, so
Me and Council Power. Why are we voting on it?
Yeah, a non-vote is a no. If you want to vote against the 0% in the hospital levy, it's your choice, but we'll have the vote.
So recorded vote for the motion on screen with number 9 added to confirm that declarations of interest declared have been recognized. All those in favor, please stand. And I see Mayor Brown, Deputy Mayor Singh, Councillor Tour, Councillor Power, Councillor Fortini, Councillor Medeiros, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Paleshi, Councillor Brouwer, Councillor Vicente, and Councillor Santos. That was unanimous.
Okay, and we go to the next motion, which is to reduce the 30-day consideration period. And like I said, there is a process where if there is an amendment, I can veto that amendment, then there can be a 2/3 vote to overturn the veto on a budget document. There are no amendments being opposed, and so this is no longer necessary, either of these 10-day periods. So I have a motion moved by Councillor Vasante, seconded by Councillor Santos, to remove this extended period. What? All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, this takes us to public question period. Are there any public questions?
That one was unanimous too, I'd like to
Yes, that was unanimous.
mention that.
Yes, both are unanimous. This takes us to confirming bylaw. I have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Pelletier in Wards 2 and 6 to approve the confirming bylaw, to confirm the proceedings and decisions from this meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to adjournment. I have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan and Councillor Medeiros in Wards 3 and 4 to adjourn today's meeting. Thank you. All in favor? Motion carries.
7, 8, 9, and 10.
And thank you, Carly and Frank Medeiros. I forgot to recognize them. You can't miss the bar handle.